I've made a copy of ODB 27 and I'm calling this one ODB 28 User Parameters Part 2. We're going to build on what we did in the last video. So I'm going into Queries and Design View. I'm going to add in the table. And then for our query, I'm going to add the asterisk to select everything. Then I want this last name again, but I don't want it to appear in our result set. So I'm going to uncheck the visible box. And for our criterion, I'm going to type in : please _, enter _ a _ last name. Clicking in the next field to lock that in. Now I'm going to go over to SQL view. I'll reformat this. This is where we left off in the last video. We have our select, our table, and our where that will select on the last name. We're going to do a little more in this video. I want to add in a wildcard so we can search on the full last name, or if we only know part of the last name, we can type that in. It's just like we did in the wildcard video with one small change. In the wildcard video, we were able to put everything in between two quotes. In fact, let's do that here for the first name. So our first name will have to have a lowercase a in it, and right now our last name will have to be exactly as we type it in. If we change the equals to like and put in left parenthesis, %, and then our input value, it's going to think that input value is part of our search value. So this won't work. What we need to do is use wildcards and concatenate them with our input parameter. When I say concatenate, it means we just want to make two or more text strings into a single text string. Let me type this in and then we'll talk about it. Here we have like, then our % in single quotes, then we have what is referred to as a pipe character. Two of them actually, right next to each other. This character, also known as a vertical bar, is usually found above the backslash on a US keyboard. It looks like a line with a space in the middle of it on my keyboard, but it shows up as the single vertical line on the screen. Then we have our input parameter. Then we've got our concatenation field again, and then our wildcard. This whole thing will be treated as a single string of text, just like our %, a %, in the line above it. Let's run this query and see how it works. And we see we've got an error. Looking at our first name and last name, our first name's green and the last name is orange. We want them both to be orange. It looks like we've got the wrong quotes. I'll fix that. And we'll run this again. Now it's asking us to enter in a last name. I'm just going to type in the lowercase r to find any last name with a lowercase r and a first name with a lowercase a. And we see we've got 9. All the last names have the lowercase r. All the first names have a lowercase a. I'll close the result set hitting F4, and let's go over to Design View. The interesting thing about this is under first name, our wildcard characters have changed from a % to an asterisk. But where we have the concatenation, our wildcard is still a %. I'm going to save this as ODB 28, enter the last name, first name, A. Clicking OK. Now I'm going to save this again, save as, and I'm going to take off the A at the end I'm also going to remove the first name criteria. I need to click off this to lock it in. And I'm going to save this again. Now we can close the query window. I'm going to save our database. Now I'm going to create a quick form and use our new query as the input. Let's go over to the form wizard. For our input, this is where we want to use our new form. ODB 28, last name, first name without the A. I'm going to select all the fields. Next. We don't want a subform. For this one, I'm going to use in columns, labels on top. Clicking next. We're going to make this one just a view only, so we don't want to allow modifications. We don't want to allow deletions. We don't want the user to be able to add fields. This is just a view only form. And the style, I'll pick the ice blue 3D look. And to give it a name, I will call this Form ODB 27. Please enter an employee name. And we're going to go into work with the form right away. It's asking for a last name. I'm just going to type in SON. Any name that has SON in it should show up. Clicking OK. Here's our first one, Anderson. And we can see down here that we've got 5, so I can click to the next one. Robinson, Thompson, and Jackson, as well as Johnson. Now I want to type in a different name, but there's no way to rerun my form from here. So I'm going to close my form and open it back up in Design View. Actually, I should rename this. It's 27. We want this to be 28. Now it's how we want it. I'm going to edit this form. I'm going to add in a push button. Right click, open up the controls. I'm going to call this button refresh. The label will say refresh. And down at the bottom, where we have our action, I'm going to change this to refresh form. I want to save this form. And now I'm going to go over into design mode on off. It's asking me for the last name. I will type in the name Lee. Clicking OK. There we see Donna Lee. Now if I click refresh, it's asking me for another last name. I will type in the name Wright. And we see that we've got George Wright. We'll try it with one more. I'll type in the name Jackson. And there we have Barb Jackson. I've already saved the form, so I can close it. I want to save my database.